Ooh, are you ready for part 2?
It's your time, do it right. Come on, in the day or in the night. Don't be shy, you can try. They can never take your pride. Put 'em up, you're enough. Put 'em up, can battle through the rough. It's a movement, so needed. Cultivate it and beat it. Let them say what they want, but never believe that you do you. They do.
Hey there everyone, and thank you so much for clicking on this video and for choosing me to spend this time with. This is my channel, Once Upon a Nursery, and I am Tamra, head Fruit Loop, top dog, and your host as always. And how are you guys doing today? How is your Thursday so far? How's your week been? Do you have any weekend plans? So yes, here I am back again to continue with my story of my life with a real Karen. So if you haven't seen part 1 of this video, if I can remember, I will link it in my description and you can go back and you can watch part 1 now. But I am very limited on time today. I have been so busy today, you guys. It is crazy. And I still have like so much to do. So I'm gonna power through this video so I can continue on with my day. But I wanted to get this recorded for you guys so that I could have this put out for today. So, last time we left off with me getting berated with them over the top of me, and you know, I'm not so good at not saying names apparently, because I had to bleep the name twice, but I'm gonna try to be more mindful of that in this video. But you guys know that I'm a Fruit Loop, so I may be doing some more bleeping. Anyways, so let's continue on with this story. So all that had happened in January and February, and so I really turned really inward. I became very depressed. I had anxiety like constantly, like all the time. But I accepted my new normal and tried to do the best that I could with what I had. The goal was to get a job, to move out, to get my own place, but it was extremely hard to get a job when I did not have a car. Yes, I have a driver's license. I've had a driver's license for years, but I mean forever I've had a driver's license. But not having a car, you know, it's like I would get job interviews and it would get to the part where, do you have reliable transportation? And I would have to say no. And they were like, you know, so I never got any callbacks, which was very disheartening. But you know, I was doing the best that I could. I was applying to places that were really close to where I lived. But I was not really close to much of anything because I was on the south side of town, and all the businesses and industry and everything were on, well, I was on the east side and everything was on the west side. So it was quite a trek by foot to get to these places. Plus I would have had to cross a busy interstate. So anyways, that was the goal though, was to leave, to move. That's what I wanted. I didn't want to live there. I did not want to stay there anymore. The ex and I had gotten along before this. Everything was very cohesive. Life was not great, but it was calm and it was peaceful until Karen moved in. Like I said, I did my best to acclimate to things. I did some things like clearing off a shelf in the bathroom, clearing off a space in the caddy. We have one of those things that stood in the corner of the shower where you can put, you know, shampoo and things. I cleared off one for her, you know, things like that. And when before she moved in, she was sleeping on my couch. Keep in mind that all of the furniture in the house belonged to me. So she was sleeping on the couch and I didn't like that. So when she moved in, she had 2 dogs, and the part of the deal was that the dogs would have to be kept in her room. I did not say they had to be kept in crates. I just said they had to be kept in her room because I was allergic to the type of dogs that she had. One of them was a pit bull and one of them was some sort of Jack Russell mixture. And she agreed to that, to keeping the dogs in her room. Now, I did not say they had to stay in crates 24/7, but they did, which was terrible. I felt really bad for the dogs. But anyways, I'm going all over the place with this story. So I'm a very, very perceptive person. I get feelings about people, sometimes from just a photo, but it's even more so in person when I'm around them. I get these feelings. Sometimes it's a really good feeling if they're a good person. Sometimes it's a really bad feeling if they're a bad person. And I have always had this, and I don't even remember where I got it from. I did get it from somewhere, but I've always had this little saying that never trust anyone who whistles. And Karen was a whistler. She used to whistle all the time. But I never had any good feelings about her at all. It's like my guard was up like all of the time, and I never ever trusted her because I just had these bad feelings. So at first, after the initial argument or whatever, she had a job, and the whole reason for her to move in there was to help out with the bills. Well, she quit her job. She worked at a cafe. I don't know what she did there, but she worked at a cafe. She quit her job. And she literally laid around the house and slept constantly on the couch, which gave like, it was hard for me because the kitchen was right next to the living room. So if I had to eat or something, it was like I had to tiptoe all the time, and it was just terrible. But anyways, so I had talked to her one day about not sleeping on my couch. I told her I did not want her sleeping on my couch anymore. I was like, you need to get your bed over here, because she still hadn't moved in all of her stuff. She had moved in part of it, just like her clothes and her dogs. But I'm like, you know, I need you to get your bed over here and get your bed set up in your room, because I don't want you sleeping on my couch anymore. You know, the couch is for sitting, not for sleeping. And she's like, yeah, you know, part of the problem is I need the TV to go to sleep, and my TV's not here. And I was like, I totally get it. You know, I understand. I also need some sort of white noise or something to be able to go to sleep. So I understood. I completely understood that. So after about 4 or 5 months, maybe, let's see, that was February, March, April, May, June. Yeah, about 4 months later, it was around in June or so, she finally got her stuff, her bed and some other furniture items, lamp, little table, stuff like that. She finally did get those things and bring them over. But it was just a futon with a mattress. The frame of it went to the garage, and the mattress just stayed leaned up against some stuff in the bedroom. I also left a piece out of this story. The room that she took over was my nursery. I had to give up my nursery where I did my filming and had all of my babies, so it could become the dog room, because that's all it was the dog room. The dogs were the only things that stayed in there besides her clothes. Her dogs, not mine. Anyways, so yeah, her stuff was finally there. She was working. She had gotten a job in April. Toward the end of April, she finally got another job and was helping out with the bills, finally. But she would sleep. When she wasn't at work, she was asleep all the time. Sleeping. It was hard for me to clean the house. It was hard for me to do anything. It was hard for me to exist. but I did the best that I could, and I kept the house clean all the time. And so roundabout in July, she quit her job, which put her at the house constantly sleeping 24 hours a day. It seemed like she would wake up, she would eat, let her dogs out, and go back to sleep. She never gave her dogs any kind of attention unless they were outside, and that was only sometimes, which that's not even part of this story. But anyways, so yeah, give me just a second. My brain is not working right. I need to think for just a moment. Right, so okay, apparently she had gotten hurt at work, fell off the loading dock or something, and like fractured her elbow, which she did. She went to the emergency room for it and all that, you know, but eventually she just quit. She just randomly, one day, didn't put in a notice or anything. She just decided not to go to work and called them and told them that she wasn't going to be coming back anymore. And so she was just there, just all the time. And here I am trying to clean and do the things that I need to do for the house and for myself and for my ex. And here she is just sleeping on my couch all the time. And I finally decided to, you know, I thought to myself, why am I cleaning up after her? Why am I picking up after her? This is her mess. She's a grown woman. I did not mind picking up after him because he was letting me stay there in his house. So it was kind of like, sort of like a live-in maid kind of situation for him, not her. So I stopped cleaning up after her and had kind of a roommate meeting one day and said, hey guys, you know, we need to make sure that we're doing our dishes in a timely manner. You know, if you use dishes, you need to clean them. And you know, at least, and we had a dishwasher at the time. So, you know, we need to get the dishes rinsed off and put into the dishwasher, you know, pretty quickly so we don't get bugs, you know. I said, but we all need to be looking after ourselves and we need to, you know, be responsible for our own messes, you know. I was very nice about this, like very nice. And she was like, oh yeah, I definitely agree, you know. So I stopped being her maid because I stopped. And everything from that point this was just the beginning of a downward spiral. So this is my part 2. Come back next week for part 3, and things are going to start getting really juicy now. So if you like drama and you want to hear about the horribleness, because this is where it starts, and part 3 is where all the horrible things start. As if it wasn't horrible enough already, but we will get there. So anyways, thank you so much guys for hanging out with me today while I took you through the part 2 of my life with the real Karen. Please consider hitting that like and subscribe if you haven't. Hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I upload a video. I do have Instagram where I upload photos and videos of myself and my reborn babies, which is what my channel is typically about, but they are packed, and of course we'll get to that too. But I will leave a link to my Instagram in my description. Yeah, and don't forget to check out my short videos right here on YouTube. I do short videos. I was doing short videos every week for all of my tags, so if you haven't seen my short videos or my long content videos, they're there. Go check them out. But yeah, I appreciate you guys being here, and I hope that you'll come back for part 3 when things really start to ramp up for me in this horrible household. Alright guys, I will see you next week. I love you. Bye guys.